You're listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon Podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, John Santucci, the Tooch, and the man with the plan, Adam Shawm. We're bringing you the fantasy football knowledge that you need every single week.
Derrick Henry still going. He might go. 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Flushed out again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes turns what might have been a 15-yard sack into a 27-yard touchdown.
Saquon Barkley across midfield, down the sideline, stayed in bounds, and Barkley takes it all the way. 68 yards for his first NFL touchdown. McCaffrey right up the middle, and he is gone for the touchdown. 58 yards. And this is to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown Saints.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cut. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations, the rest of you made the team. Except you, and you.
God bless fantasy football. There are many things a man can do with his time. And this, better than those things.
Right, Fantasy Football Goon Show on the Ballroom Network. No Goon, though, today. He is taking the week off on vacation. We got Steven Zimmerman filling in for Goon, and as usual, Papa Bear, Adam Shawm down there. We got a lot of games on tap here today. Might as well just get right into it. What do you guys say? Week 11.
Man, I'm kind of like numb to the whole Bears thing today. Like, all right. I'm trying not to get my hopes up about it, but it's like, if you ever want to win a game, it's today. But what are the chances of that,
Yep, I know. I don't like the Bears' chances today either. Zim, the Bears pull it off. I think they cover, though. I don't know, Adam. I don't think we win, but
what's the line?
It's at 6.5 right
6.5
now.
now.
Yeah, that's what I thought I remember hearing earlier in the week.
They announced the Waldron firing went down to 5.5, but now it's back up to 6.5, which isn't a good sign.
I think that's deserved.
They rethought it. They're like, no, they just suck.
Honestly, though, like, why wouldn't you bet against the Bears the way they've been playing, the way this thing's been happening? Like, we've all seen this song and dance time and time again. And, the Bears don't have the offense. Well, maybe they do, but they don't have the system in place that the Buffalo Bills did last year, the year before, whenever it was, when they made an offensive coordinator change midseason. And, it's nice to think about. It's nice to dream about. And like we were talking about in our offline group for this show, it would be the most Bears thing ever for them to come out and like blow out Green Bay and win by a bunch just to fall flat for 7 straight weeks afterwards. So that's why this week is a total wild card to me. I'll tell you this. I don't think the Bears cover. I think you either take Bears money line or you take the Packers to cover. I don't think there's any situation where I'm taking Bears plus 6.5 personally, just because I feel like it's either going to be a blowout or it's going to be a Bears victory. I don't see personally like a 24-21 kind of game.
That's fair.
Only way the Bears win is if they can run the ball and Jordan Love is going to throw a couple interceptions. You've got to play good.
But that's the thing. Love has shown that he's doing that lately. And the Bears
do that. He's got. If you give him a chance, he takes pride in throwing interceptions. I mean, if you just give him a chance, he'll do it.
That's just it. I mean, Jordan Love, and I know I've made this comparison on this show before with other players, but Jordan Love genuinely reminds me a little bit of Rex Grossman from week to week, where you're like, all right, clearly this guy's an NFL player, but what the hell was that?
Yeah. It's just like he has no conscience, just like I might be able to get a touchdown here, regardless of the outcome I'm throwing.
That's it. If he didn't play for the Packers, we would look at him in a completely different light. And that's league wide. That's not just as Bears fans. It's because he's living in the shadow of Brett Favre. Ultimately, yeah, Rodgers was there, but Rodgers was a different kind of player in that regard. Whereas Favre was that true gunslinger. Most interceptions in the history of the NFL, right? But we all objectively agree he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
So, you take what you get with that, and that's the player he was. And Jordan Love seems to be kind of a similar kind of guy. It's just a matter of time to see if he's going to reach that level of success that Favre got to or not.
Yeah, for me, it comes down to this. The Packers are coming off a bye week and a loss previously to the Lions. And they're stewing over a loss. They've had an extra week to prepare for the Bears. And since the Bears have been injured on offensive and defensive lines, they haven't stopped the run well. They're 25th against the run. Green Bay is the number 3 overall rushing team in the NFL. 155 yards per game rushing. A lot of that has been on the back of Josh Jacobs, who really liked the start today for Jacobs. If you're firing him up today, today's the day. The Bears haven't been able to stop the run. All right. Quarterback starts. What do you guys think? Little Adam Papa Bears quarterbacks.
Well, I like Justin Herbert today versus Cincinnati. Herbert's been playing really well the last month or so. They've started throwing the ball more. He's using his legs a little bit more like he did his first couple of seasons, getting out of the pocket and getting those first downs. You expect Cincinnati is going to be able to score points, so you hope Herbert has to keep up with them. And so I think he's a great streamer today. If you're not, some people are using him, but he was on the waiver wire in most leagues. So
I picked him up. I'm starting him.
Yeah, exactly. So did I. I picked him up on one league, and I've got him, and I'm using him today as my streamer. So he's great. I think Russell Wilson, another one that's had some good games lately. Now he's going against the Baltimore defense. We just saw what Joe Burrow did to them. Well, Joe Burrow's done to them twice this year already. But Baltimore gives up tons of air yards, tons of everything against Baltimore's in the passing game. So Russell Wilson, George Pickens, I love that today versus Baltimore's defense. I think Hamilton's going to play, but he's banged up. That's a huge part of their defense. And then I'll take Tua again this week. I think the Dolphins have got to get this rolling. I think it showed a little improvement last week, especially early in the game, and then it slowed down for whatever reason. But versus Las Vegas defense, hopefully they get back on track today. I think Tua gets a couple of touchdowns. I'm using him on Guillotine League today.
Excellent. Yeah, was talking with Aaron Mikulski, who's a barroom personality here. He sent me a text conversation he had with one of his friends who's a Raiders fan. And they both were talking, back and forth in this text. Both were saying the same thing. The players quit on our coach. So anybody starting against the Raiders today, I like. Especially Devin A-Chain. I've got a prop over 63.5 rush yards for A-Chain. Let's get to Steven Zimmerman's quarterback starts.
Yeah, so I've also got Justin Herbert versus Cincinnati for a lot of the same reasons. Bo Nix versus Atlanta is a big one for me today. Especially because he's available in so many leagues, right? If you need a streaming option at quarterback, Bo Nix is a guy I would heavily target this week. Atlanta has let up the 5th most passing touchdowns in the league. And Bo Nix is really hitting his stride in this Sean Payton offense. Yeah. It's looking good. Cortland Sutton, by that matter, is also a viable start today. He's not on my list anywhere, but he's somebody I highly considered by proxy to Bo Nix. Bo Nix is your offensive rookie of the year, guys. We can talk about this Caleb versus Jaden stuff all day long, and Bo's just going to swoop in here and win an award and bow his hat. And
it was a good quarterback class. I mean, if J.J. McCarthy didn't get injured, I think we'd be talking about this as one of the best quarterback classes ever. Drake May has been playing fairly well.
We've been talking for years trying to compare a quarterback class to the 83 draft, and it looks like we might finally have one if this all works out with these guys. Because we all think – that Penix and McCarthy are going to be right up there with these other 4 guys that are starting right now. Yep. So we'll see what happens. Lastly, I have Brock Purdy versus Seattle. Not always a great matchup for against Seattle for quarterbacks, but it's the Niners. The Niners own Seattle. It's what happens. You want a prop for today? Deebo Samuel, anytime touchdown scorer. Go ahead and look at his history versus Seattle. He scores against Seattle regularly and religiously, man. So with that in mind, Brock Purdy's his quarterback. I'm giving Brock Purdy my start today.
Yeah.
We got a question from the chat
Kittle's
room.
probably out too, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 2, Tank Dell, Juwan Jennings, Cedric Tillman, and Jacoby Myers. Well, and I really like Cedric Tillman today too against
too.
Against the Saints, and they traded away their best cornerback. And then Jacoby Myers, it's all they got there besides Brock Bowers. I mean, you can't run on the Dolphins. It's a tough matchup for the Dolphins. I mean, against the Dolphins. What do you think of Papa Bear?
I like Jennings and Tillman here, I think.
Yeah, for me, Tillman.
Definitely Jennings would be my first for sure. Like for the reasons Zim was just talking about with Devo and stuff. I mean, the Kittle's going to be out. Purdy loves Juwan Jennings, man. They have a great relationship there. So, and Tillman's just been hot, and Winston's going to throw it. So I trust that right now a little more than I do CJ Stroud and the Texans. I think, Nico's supposed to be back. He's probably going to really be looking to get the ball there, I imagine.
The Texans are up against
Dallas.
Colts? Oh, Dallas.
Dallas
That's right.
on Monday.
Yep. Dallas on Monday night.
Yeah.
Man, okay, so
Dallas. Dell and Tillman are kind of a toss-up to me, but it's Jennings and one of them for sure, but I'd probably lean Tillman.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
You're on Tillman and Jennings?
Yes.
And the Raiders are playing the Dolphins?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's either Jennings. I mean, Tillman is one of my picks for sure. I don't think you go wrong with any of those other guys, though. I'll just defer to you guys with Jennings. He also has Shakir, Myers, and Bryant. Love Brian Thomas Jr. today. I mean, the Vikings are a pass funnel. I think the Jaguars are playing from behind today in this one. So give me Brian Thomas Jr. Also like Shakir, though.
Yeah, I'd do Shakir. I actually got Thomas is actually a sit for me today.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's been banged up, and they've got Mac Jones playing now.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's an aggressive sit to me.
He had like one catch last game.
Yeah.
I also lean Shakir. Cooper is coming back from a wrist injury where it was reported he was having problems catching the ball. If he's having any kind of drop problems today, they're probably going to start leaning on Shakir. And Keon Coleman is also out. So that's and Dalton Kincaid is out.
Yeah.
So
sounds like
Shakir,
Cooper's playing,
Dawson
but he's
Knox.
going to be limited.
that's just it. That's why I say if Cooper has any kind of issues today, they're just going to set him down and say,
I think
get
he's
right.
Mostly going to be a decoy, probably, and Shakir's going to be the main target.
Hollins, isn't he on the Bills? Mac Hollins.
Yes, Mac Hollins. Last week he was okay.
Yeah.
He was a sleeper for me last week. I called him out, and he had an okay game. He didn't really go crazy or anything.
Kincaid and no Keon Coleman though today.
It's impressive how Josh Allen has kept himself in the top 5 in fantasy with the receiving options this season.
I'll tell you, if anybody's gonna give the Chiefs a loss, it's today.
Yeah, that's
otherwise they probably go undefeated the rest of the season.
Hollins in his last 2 games dealing with the Coleman and Cooper injuries and now the Kincaid injuries has averaged about 13 points in the last 2 games. He's got 14 and 12.5. So if you need a good streaming push option, he's available in 97% of sleeper leagues right
He's
now.
He's a big target too. In the red zone.
31 years old, 6'4", 220. Yeah.
Yep.
When they get down there, especially when they're missing Kincaid, granted they have. Huh? He is. He spent some time in Indy too. Don't forget.
How old is Mitch Trubisky?
Trubisky, I believe, is 29.
So that makes sense. They played together in North Carolina.
That'd be about right.
Yeah.
Trubisky is 30.
30. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they came out the same year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot where I was going with all that, but regardless,
Amari Cooper status. Anybody? He's out today, right?
He is still he's in as of right now.
He's supposed to play, but that's what I said. I think he's going to be kind of a decoy. I said his wrist is going to be all bandaged up or
expected to play, usage to be determined.
Yeah.
According to Adam Schefter.
So man, I think Shakir is going to be their guy.
Run through a bunch of these. Trevor Lawrence is out. Isaiah Pacheco out. Tank Bigsby out. Jalen Warren questionable. Damian Pierce off the injury report. Let's see. CeeDee Lamb questionable for Monday night's game. Should play, though. Devontae Adams questionable. Nico Collins off the injury report. DK Metcalf should play. T. Higgins should play. Michael Pittman Jr. off the injury report should play. Amari Cooper questionable for Sunday's games against the Chiefs, but he's practiced all week. Let's see. Keon Coleman out. We said Juju Smith-Schuster off the injury report. Let's see here. Tight ends. Dalton Kincaid is out. George Kittle is questionable, but we don't think he's playing, right?
No, they said he's not expected to play. I don't.
Sam Laporta out.
Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of teams.
Yep. If you have Harrison Butker as your kicker, get him out of your lineup because he was placed on injured reserve Friday. All right. Let's get back to a little Tooch quarterbacks. I got basically the same as you guys. Bo Nix. The Falcons give up the most rushing yards to the quarterbacks. Also have a prop. Bo Nix over 28.5 rushing yards, or 26.5 or 28.5, depending on where you can get it. Russell Wilson, the Ravens give up the most points, yards, whatever, to the quarterback position. Not a hard start there. And Brock Purdy versus Seahawks, also like Justin Herbert today. But Purdy, man, he really can. He really kills the Seahawks, and he's been playing very quietly, having a really good fantasy season.
Just always seems like Brock Purdy just has like the easiest path to 20 points in fantasy.
Yeah, almost every week, right?
Yeah, it just seems super easy for it to happen too. Like he doesn't have to do a whole lot. They just have so many weapons. Like
that's it. We talked about it last week. McCaffrey's back, and that takes a huge weight off of that offense.
All right, got a question here. Terry McLaurin, 2 points last week, huh? Is that what he's talking about last week, right? Yeah.
No, that's on Thursday.
Thursday. I mean, yeah, that's 2 points. Yeah, okay. Who should I flex? Estime, Quentin Johnson, or Mike Williams?
What you should do is send a PayPal to your commissioner and say, hey, man, McLaurin never started for me.
I'm going to take Quentin Johnson.
Yep, me too.
I'm inclined to agree. If you are really feeling nervous about Johnston for any reason, Mike Williams would be the secondary. Estime is a very risky play right now.
Mike Williams was traded, right, to was it the Steelers?
To the Jets?
Yes.
No, he was on the Jets.
He was with the Jets.
He's on the Steelers. He had a good connection with Russell Wilson in his first game.
Yeah, it might be a decent start, Mike Williams. I mean,
you're kind of taking a flyer there. Johnston he's big play dependent.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that you run into with him. He's gonna only get about 6 targets. That's what we've seen all season with him.
Yeah.
It's a matter of what he does with those targets. Sometimes he scores 2 long touchdowns. Sometimes they're just 5-yard dumps. So,
but Mike Williams is the same thing, but with half those targets, probably.
Exactly. Exactly.
The wide receiver, the Ravens give up the most points to the wide receiver. It's not even close. 46.35 points, fantasy points against, and the next is the Lions with 40.
None of that matters, Ravens Steelers, man. We all know how that game goes every year. There's 2 of them every season, and they all look identical.
Yep.
The Mike Williams thing, just when they added him, it's like seems like that's already George Pickens' job. What Mike Williams does is go get that deep ball, and it's like you're gonna throw that to Pickens.
Yeah, that's why I like Johnson as well. All right, let's get back to the running backs. Adam?
I like today to be a good Nick Chubb breakout game. The New Orleans is horrible against the run. Chubb's gotten at least 15 carries every week. Well, 14, I think, the first week, but then he's been like 16 and 17 and hasn't been real efficient, but this is his first good matchup. He's had a tough one so far. And I think they continue that workload with him. And like I said, New Orleans is terrible against the run. I think he gets the touchdown, but I think after this week, if he does, you ought to try to sell him before your trade deadline because they've got a horrible, tough schedule after this. He plays Pittsburgh 2 times, Baltimore, Denver. It's rough the rest of the way. I think this is the Chubb good game, and then sell him if you can before your trade deadline. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, I know he's an every week starter, but man, this is a juicy matchup versus Jacksonville. I don't think they're going to have to pass a whole lot in this one. I think the running backs are just going to kill Jacksonville today. So fire up Jahmyr Gibbs and Josh Jacobs, unfortunately, against the Bears. The Bears' run defense has been just awful, especially the last few weeks. And Josh Jacobs is basically what the Packers like to do. They run him 25 times a game, and he'll probably get in the end zone versus the Bears, even though he's had trouble running in the end zone thus far. But I love Josh Jacobs to get 100 yards probably versus the Bears.
I love it. All right. I love Chubb today too. And yeah, of course, we talked about Josh Jacob and the running.
Just don't get fooled if Chubb has a good game. I'm telling you, that schedule is rough the next few weeks, and teams are just going to stack up against Chubb. I mean, it's.
All right, I got Joe Mixon at Dallas. Dallas looks like a shell of who they were, and with Dak out, the wind is completely out of their sails. So Joe Mixon, I know Dameon Pierce is back, but I think Mixon's still going to be the number one guy, the goal line guy, get all those opportunities there. And for a team that's been struggling to throw the ball a little bit, CJ Stroud has not been the guy that we saw last year, having a little sophomore slump. Well, count on that running back against a bad defense. You know, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Next, I got Breece Hall versus Indianapolis. Kind of seems like a no-brainer, but with how lackluster the Jets offense has been a lot of the season, I feel like it's worth pointing out that like this is a bad defense they're playing. Breece Hall should get a lot of opportunity in this game. It's it's at home for them, which is getting colder out, leads to more running of the ball than throwing. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to stay healthy. If anything happens to him, Breece Hall becomes the offense. So it's a little bit of a gamble on that, but overall, I think it's just good matchup versus bad team. Take advantage. Lastly, kind of the same thing. Devin Achane, he's a no-duh starter. He's a set it and forget it kind of player, but some people like to cycle him out. They like to cycle things through and through. Put him in there this week. Las Vegas, like I mentioned with Dallas, wind completely out of the sails for that team. No fight in those guys whatsoever. And as Tua is trying to get back upright, get a little more into the flow of it, you know, good offensive coordinator is going to lean on that running back, both in the quick passing game for your PPR leagues, as well as the running game. And we all know Achane can break one at a moment's notice. So I like him a lot today.
All right. Love it. Very good.
Yep.
I also have Nick Chubb. Got Kareem Hunt versus the Bills. The Bills give up a lot of points to the fantasy points to the running back. And David Montgomery, guys. I mean, either one of those guys I think are a good start against it. I think they'll run the ball a lot, you know, with Trevor Lawrence out on the other side of the ball. So kind of like that. Let's see. What do we got here? And then let's move on to the tight ends. Oh, wait,
we got a tight end question in the chat.
Got a tight end question here.
Perfect timing.
Let's go. Pitts, Hunter Henry, or Ferguson?
I lean Henry. Henry this week.
Too.
Pitts has a tough matchup against the Broncos.
Yep.
Ferguson's working with Cooper Rush, man. I don't know if you can count on him for anything right now until we see something out of Dallas. So Hunter Henry's safest option, and he's got a pretty decent matchup today.
The Patriots are against
LA.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's Rams
or
Rams,
Chargers. Right. Yeah, it's
Rams.
Rams. Yep. The Rams.
Yeah, I think I'd probably lean Hunter Henry too. He seems to be the safety net there right now. Pitts has been down for a couple of weeks, and
the Texans are number one. Texans are number one team versus the tight end.
Yeah,
only allowing 7 fantasy points per game versus the tight end. So The Rams give up 14 points per game on average, and the Broncos are actually pretty good against the tight end, giving up 11 points. So yeah, for me, it's Hunter Henry. All right, so we'll get back to the thoughts on Tyler Allgeier. I have a starter on by. Should I look for a guy? Allgeier's got he's got a tough matchup against the Broncos, though, huh?
Yeah, but as a runner, he's a little more immune to it. Not much, but some.
They're up middle of the pack against the run.
The problem is Bijan snakes all of the red zone snaps from him. So he's very touchdown dependent as it stands. You kind of got to hope he breaks off a 20-yarder. Looking for another guy, though, that's hard to say because who else is out there?
Yeah, exactly.
Braylon Allen might get some opportunities today, but that's a big maybe. That's a bigger maybe than Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I would definitely look and see what's available there. Tyler Algier gets a decent, consistent workload most of the time, but man, Bijan's really been tearing it up lately.
Mm-hmm. He's on a heck of a streak. I traded for him, man, and he came alive. Too late to save my season, but I've been wrecking shop with him since I got eliminated. I'm just playing spoiler right now in that league.
Flex 1 full PPR. Let's see, Ramondre. I like Jacoby Myers today, but I think you got to go with Ramondre, no?
Yeah, I think I go Ramondre.
I would too.
Yep. London or Reed PPR. I'm going to take.
Oh God, can you sit both of them?
I would take Reed.
I would not. I would take London.
I think take Drake London.
I think Mooney gets the PS2 coverage today, which frees up London for a little bit of opportunities. Mooney's been their true wide receiver 1 out there.
Yeah, well, he has, man. He's been a great fantasy wide receiver.
And as good as Riley Moss has been, he's still a rookie. He's going to get picked on a little bit. So other league, London or JSN. I go JSN. He's getting a lot of targets. Yeah. That's going to drop off with DK coming back. But even before DK was out, he was getting a lot of targets. The dude's averaging, I want to say like 8.5 targets a game. And again, that's inflated because DK was out. I know the last couple of weeks he got like 13, 14 targets. But as of right now, I still stick with JSN.
Yep. All right. Let's go head back to our tight end starts. Go ahead, Adam.
All right. I got TJ Hawkinson at Tennessee. We saw him come alive last week. 9 targets, 8 catches, like 70-something yards. I think he's just going to be an easy guy for that almost every week, I think, right now. Sam Darnold needs some easier throws. And then David Njoku at New Orleans. I like that matchup. He's, again, same kind of reason, just tons of targets from Jameis Winston. And then Mark Andrews is back to being Mark Andrews, I think. He's at Pittsburgh. A little bit of a tough matchup, but I don't think they're going to throw a whole lot in this game, but I think when they do, it might be to Mark Andrews. So I like that matchup. I think he gets a touchdown in that game. I think those are 3 pretty easy starts for me.
Yeah, I like those. I like those a lot.
All right. Zim, tight end starts.
Yeah. I got Tucker Kraft at Chicago. The outside's going to be taken away a lot with the Bears corners. Bears have a decent secondary even with injuries. So I don't like the Packers wide receivers as much, but that leaves Tucker Kraft open a lot underneath and in the middle. And the Bears have been allowing it this season. So you let it go. I got Pat Freiermuth versus Baltimore. A lot of the same reasons that Adam just listed for Mark Andrews. Not a ton of passing is going to be happening. But on top of it, with the Mike Williams acquisition, the Steelers got a lot more vertical on the outside, which leaves the middle of the field open a little bit for them. That's where Pat Freiermuth can really, body his targets, get in there, be a possession receiver, maybe get some angry yard after catch. Last, I got Hunter Henry at the Rams. Just a good matchup for him.
Yeah.
Rams allowing a lot to tight ends this season. And just that defense is not really that great. If you're kind of scrounging for someone, and that's what I was looking at
it's a
this
really
week.
weird defense. Sometimes they're awesome and sometimes they suck with the Rams. It's so weird.
But just generally speaking, I was trying real hard this week not to just name the obvious guys, which is hard with tight ends this season. It really is. So these are kind of three options that I think could be available for a lot of people. Tucker Kraft was available in one league that I needed with Laporta being injured.
Yep.
So I picked him up.
Good call.
You got to do what you got to do. I'm still fighting for contention in that league.
All right. I got Njoku versus the Saints. Dawson Knox today. Why not? With Kincaid out.
Yep.
And then
I thought about it real hard.
It's going to be tough with that Steelers pass rush and Lamar Jackson hold on to the ball so much, but why not a little outlet pass to Mark Andrews? And, it's really hard to run against the Steelers. So they're going to have to do some quick pass. I like Mark Andrews today versus the Steelers. And then wide receivers, Adam.
We got you on mute.
There we go. I'm back.
All right. He's
George
back.
Pickens, I like him versus Baltimore today. We talked about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Pickens should have a great matchup versus Baltimore. I love that deep ball chances there. So let's hope for one of those 40-yard moon balls from Russ. And then Jawan Jennings, we've also already mentioned him too. I love his relationship with Purdy and that matchup versus Seattle. I think that's going to be a easy 30-point game for the 49ers. I think Jennings gets his fair share of that. And then Calvin Ridley, man, he's been eating ever since they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, man. I mean, he's been getting 8, 9, 10 targets a game. Versus Minnesota, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot, and that's really what you do against Minnesota is throw it. So look for Ridley to have another 6, 7 catches on another 10 targets, I expect. And he gets them pretty deep down the field too. So that's the good thing is that, he gets 20-yard catches a lot. So
yep,
I like that matchup.
I also like Ridley today.
He got dropped a lot of places this season. I mean,
he did.
Yeah.
He's on my starts as well. Like that matchup a lot. Minnesota's giving it to people as well. So take it if it's there. Also got Zay Flowers at Pittsburgh. Zay Flowers to me is like Tyreek Hill Jr. Except not this season for Tyreek.
Yeah.
I like Zay a lot though, man. Zay,
really
he finds a way to get open. That's it. He's a good route runner, but he's also good on those scramble drill balls. He and Lamar are on the same page. He knows where to go when he's got to get there.
Unlike the Bears.
Yeah. And then I talked about Debo earlier. Debo scores on Seattle, man. Look at his history. There's no reason not to start him. Don't even think twice about it. Just put Debo in your lineup today.
Great call. And then Calvin Ridley, of course, as well. I have George Pickens also going with Cedric Tillman versus the Saints. No Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, Cedric Tillman's a big target in the red zone. So, I mean, he's going to be either him or Njoku in the red zone. And Jameis Winston, he sure likes to throw the ball. I mean, I love the Browns to win that game if you want to lay some money down. It was Browns plus 1.5, which is when I took it. So now it's like Browns -1, and that's a great sign. The steam is all on the Browns. Cortland Sutton versus the Falcons. I know PS2 is out there, but I still like Sutton, man, versus the Falcons. I mean, wait, I got it reversed. Sorry, Cortland Sutton versus the Falcons. And the Falcons suck in their quarterbacks. Sorry.
Sutton's been pretty good lately.
Yeah.
He's been coming on strong. As Bo Nix has been getting better, those two have started to get that chemistry down. It makes you wonder what was going on with Jerry Jeudy in the room,
Yeah, Cortland Sutton should. The Falcons are not the best pass defense in the NFL by far.
Not even.
They used to be pretty good with a couple guys, but really have fallen off lately. Adam's defensive special teams starts.
I'll take the Lions surging defense there versus Mac Jones. They also should be getting their new Zadarius Smith out there. Isn't that who they got? Was it Zadarius Smith? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he should be
showed
out
up
there
today
versus them. Yeah.
I love the Lions today. I mean, that's like a guaranteed victory, but 13.5 points seems a little tall. The backdoor cover, maybe some Lions first half.
Is that the line, 13.5?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I still like it. I mean, it's Lions or nothing for me if I was betting it, but
yeah, that's a ton in the NFL though. Jeez.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, they just hung 52 on a team, and they barely broke a sweat for that. But I don't remember which team it was, but
you know how hard it was for me.
Titans, I think.
How hard it was for me not to put any Lions players in my starts this week, just because that offense versus Jacksonville looks so juicy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, don't be obvious.
I mean, Jared Goff might be done by halftime, and they have the backup quarterback in.
I know.
Yeah, he's on my sits this week because, I just don't think they're going to need to throw very much.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I also like the Vikings at the Titans. You always love the Will Levis factor anytime he's playing. Expect him to be playing from behind, and he's probably going to be risking it all the time. So we'll take that. When he tries to force it to Ridley, the Vikings got a good chance of getting some. And then I'll take the Jets versus Colts. Anthony Richardson's back there again. He's just so inefficient as a passer. And
good call.
I think the Jets have a pretty good chance of getting a pick six or a fumble six in that game on that one.
Fair.
All right, Zim.
Yeah, Detroit versus Jacksonville's on there for sure for me. Surprising one. Chicago versus Green Bay. I have the Bears on this one. Love has been turning the ball over, and I think that's worth something. As long as the Bears don't give up a ton of points, which so far this season they have yet to give up 30, I believe, right? Or did they give it up once?
He seems like he doesn't turn the ball over against us, but if the Bears are going to win, they need turnovers.
And that's it. You don't know what's going to happen. It's just the way that Love's been playing lately, and that's what gives me this pick.
I don't hate it
more than the Bears defense. It's more the way that the Packers offense has looked.
It's rainy. It's rainy in Chicago. I think could be a low scoring game.
That's it. And then lastly, I got Houston's defense against Dallas. It's Cooper Rush out there, man.
Not a Cooper Rush fan?
It's Cooper Rush out there, man. There's going to be 3-4 turnovers from Dallas in that game.
My season, I mean, I have the all-injury team in fantasy this year. Dak was my quarterback. I had T. Higgins. I had Cooper Kupp.
Man, you're
Chris
not the
Godwin.
only one.
I've lost so many players, man. It's just there's no chance of me of winning anymore. I'm kind of resigned to my fate like Zim, But
I also want to mention
into the playoffs, maybe.
I also want to mention with that Dallas defense that Trevon Diggs had a very nice pick last week, and he is a 100% confidence player. When he's feeling himself, he plays way better than when he's not, and he'll be feeling himself this week. So I think you got a good chance that he's going to jump something. So I know that's on the other side of the ball, but if you're really, really desperate and the Dallas defense is out there, it might be worth picking up.
Yeah. All right, mine. Oh, wait, no, where am I here? Sorry. Wrong button. I got the Vikings versus the Titans for the Will Levis factor, the Lions versus the Jaguars for the Mac Jones factor, and the Texans versus the Cowboys for the Cooper Rush factor. Not a lot to say there. Let's move on to sleepers.
I like Jaylen Warren versus Baltimore. Jaylen Warren's always just a consistent little player. You're not going to get 25 points out of him, but you're going to get 10 a lot of weeks, especially in PPR leagues. And he's had a couple times lately where he's gotten stopped at the goal line, or he actually had a fumble get knocked out right as he was about to score a week or two ago. Najee Harris is banged up as well, so they might limit him a little bit. And in this game versus Baltimore, they might be from behind and throw a little more, and that's where Jaylen Warren flourishes. So I like him. I picked him up off the waiver wire this last week in one league, so you might look around for, especially that question earlier that was looking for the Algier guy. You might look for Jaylen Warren on your waiver wire.
Yeah, not a bad pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll take Ladd McConkey versus Cincinnati. He's been a consistent player all season, but in this game where we mentioned we all like Justin Herbert and they might be playing keep up with Cincinnati, McConkey might see a little bit more targets and maybe a little more yardage in this one. So I feel pretty good playing him this week. And Jonnu Smith has been one of those waiver wire tight ends people have been picking up.
I picked him up and starting him. Yep, over Ferguson.
Very startable, been getting 5 targets or more a lot.
Yeah.
So he's been I think he's kind of to his warming up with Jonnu Smith. So he's a pretty safe play right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question here. Pick one, flex PPR. Rico Dowdle, Audric Estime, Taysom Hill, or Ricky Pearsall. I'm going to say Pearsall.
I'm going to take Rico.
Yeah, it's Dowdle for me, for sure. He's running back one, and when you don't have a quarterback, your running back gets work.
Exactly.
He's going to get some work.
Use him a lot, I think.
They're real tough, though, against the run.
I think now's when Dallas is going to find out if Rico's going to be their guy for next year.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to use this stretch right here to figure it all out.
Yeah, the Texans one of the best teams against the running back, but he should get a ton of work, and that's hard to pass up. Taysom Hill might be a little bit of a wild card. He intrigues me. And then Audric Estime, look, I've got him in my sleepers today. It could be his breakout. He had a good line last week. He got what did he carry the ball 17 times last week?
I just don't trust Sean Payton enough to think that he's going to really lean on any running back,
Yeah.
It could very easily be the exact opposite today, where Javonte goes back to 16 carries and Estime gets 8, and Estime's not going to catch the ball at all. So he may get the bulk of the carries, but I still think Javonte is going to get the more valuable ones and the better chances for touchdowns, probably.
I think Estime will be the goal line. The goal line for me, it would be Estime or Bo Nix, because look. Javonte Williams, man, he has 0 explosive plays this season. He's averaging 3.3 yards per carry. And then he's carried the ball 5 times as much as Estime, and Estime has 5 times as many explosive runs. That's my angle there.
Javonte is starting to feel very Jordan Howard-esque to me.
Yeah.
Where, Howard was so good for those first few years and then just fell off a cliff out of nowhere.
He used to break long runs, and he wasn't that fast.
I love Jordan Howard so much.
So did I.
He was one of my favorites.
I wanted the Bears to
first
draft
Bears
him.
shirtsy I ever had.
When I heard that they drafted him, I was overjoyed. I really liked him at Indiana and at UAB. But
remember that game, man? He tore up Minnesota on Halloween night. He had a 50-yard run, and it was a great game. The Bears kicked
against the Ravens in overtime with an injured shoulder, where he was protecting his shoulder.
Remember against Philly?
Wasn't that the Steelers?
The Steelers.
Yeah.
Ravens overtime. He won that game single-handedly.
Yeah.
Remember that game against Philly in the playoffs where he could have broken a 4th down run for a 58-yard touchdown and he tripped over a shoelace?
Yeah.
That's the one I remember.
Fans acting like Jordan Howard.
Lewis is in injury hell. He needs 2 out of these. Holy shit. I'm going to say Keenan Allen. The short pass is how you beat the Packers. And I don't know what Thomas Brown is going to do. For me, I don't know what he's going to do. He's different than Waldron, but the way you beat the Packers is the short passing game. They're very susceptible to the short pass. All they do is they sit back and they take away the deep ball and they play tough against the run. So I could see Keenan Allen getting you some PPR points for today. Other than that,
I kind of have that sneaky suspicion too that if the Bears do anything good today, it might come through Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Other than the run, as far as the passing game goes, anyway.
Yeah. And then I don't know about Mike Williams. I know that the Ravens give up a ton of points to the wide receiver, so there's that angle. Kayshon Boutte has gotten a lot of targets. And then you got Xavier Worthy, who to me, he seems forgotten in Kansas City.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I'm definitely picking Keenan Allen out of the 4. I need one more. Lewis needs one more.
I think I would take Keenan Allen, and then I'll take the lottery ticket of Xavier Worthy versus the Buffalo. I think that could be, that's one of those matchups you could see Andy Reid.
I don't hate it.
Shit out of his ass on this one, where Xavier Worthy gets some crazy deep play or an end around and runs it for a touchdown. I'll take that chance because they're all lottery tickets, I think. So I'll take.
Yeah, they're all kind of lottery tickets.
I'll take Worthy.
The Ravens give up the most to the wide receiver. That's why. Has Mike Williams done anything with the Steelers yet, Zim?
He had a very nice deep touchdown last week.
Did he play one game with them already, or was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if he played last week.
Wilson dropped it right over his shoulder, man. It was beautiful. If you guys haven't seen it, you should go look it up. It was vintage Russell Wilson, man. He looks good.
The Steelers-Ravens games, look, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are 6-1 their last 7 against the Ravens, so straight up and against the spread. So, if if the Steelers are going to win, one, they got to either put up points or stop the Ravens from scoring. It's a difficult angle. And Keyshawn Boutte has been getting a lot of targets as well. But
that's what I was going to say. I really like Boutte with May starting to find his groove, find his flow. I mean, he was successful against Jalen Johnson last week, and that says something a lot,
right?
You know,
Jalen Ramsey, is he still on? He's still on the Rams, right? Or is he on the Dolphins now?
He's the Dolphins.
It's the Dolphins. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's.
I was saying he's no longer on the Rams. You're safe there. Well, Jalen Ramsey, a hell of a cornerback. For me, I'm going to take Keenan Allen and I'll go Mike Williams, but I don't like. I only really like Allen today, and you Zim likes Keyshawn and Adam likes Worthy.
I know this is a tough one. I'm sorry we can't be more help.
Yeah.
Personally, I agree with y'all on the
Calvin
wild card
Ridley
aspect
out there on his wire. I doubt it, but
yeah, that'd be a nice pickup.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mind keeps going back to Keyshawn Boutte. He and May have really clicked. If you guys like Keenan Allen, like you've kind of convinced me on him. I'm not gonna lie. My biggest issue is the Bears changing offensive coordinator. You don't know what's going to come from that. And so I stay away from players in a week like that. That's just a me thing. That's a safety thing.
But where the Packers are vulnerable is the short pass, and that's the bread and butter of Keenan Allen, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry we weren't more help. Bench one, Hopkins, Dobbins. Wait, Hopkins, is that DeAndre Hopkins?
Gotta be.
He's on a bye, isn't he?
No, he's not. It's just Chiefs.
Oh, he's on the Chiefs, right? I thought he was on the Cardinals last year. Forgot he's on the Chiefs. He just traded to Chiefs. Dobbins, Higgins. Look, man, bench one. Higgins.
Bench one. So, I think I bench Higgins.
I got to bench Higgins too, just because of the quad injury. It's a high injury risk. So yeah, that the type of injury that T. Higgins has a very high re-injury rate. So I'm benching Higgins. I love Higgins though, man. He's such a great player, but he's just injured this year.
That's it. It's not even just that though. It's the lineup that of these four to me. Yeah. Tillman's going to get more targets than him. Dobbins is a very valuable running back right now, and Hopkins has been going crazy out in Kansas City.
Chargers defense is good too, man.
So
I'm playing the other guys over. I love T. Higgins. I think you need to give him an extra week back. Let's go back to where we were, and we were doing. What do we do? Was it sleepers? Adam sleeper, and we had
sleepers. Yeah,
we're on Zim sleeper.
Yep, I got Jalen Waddle out there.
Yeah,
Tyreek hasn't been doing too well, but Tua is starting to come back around. Waddle, I don't know. I just like him this week against Vegas, especially. It's a good opportunity for him to do well. Next, I got Josh Downs at the Jets. Not really a super popular choice, I think. And
number one versus the wide receiver.
That's it. What I should have picked, and
it's all right. I let myself. He's the best receiver on that team.
Well, but that's the problem, right? He's going to be matched up on Sauce Gardner. What I should have said here is Alec Pierce versus New York Jets. Alec Pierce is Anthony Richardson's favorite deep option. Yeah. So Josh Downs is your good underneath guy, whereas Alec Pierce is your good deep guy. It's hard with Anthony Richardson back there for sure. We all know it. He's so inconsistent. He's so raw. You don't know what you're going to get. I'm going to stick with Alec Pierce. Thank you very much, Tooch, for fixing that up. I'm going to go with Alec Pierce. Look at his fantasy numbers in weeks when Anthony Richardson plays. They are significantly higher than his weeks when Anthony Richardson does not play. And he's available in a lot of leagues for that exact reason. So I like Alec Pierce. Lastly, I got Tyler Conklin on the other side of that game versus Indianapolis. I don't know. Conklin's available in a lot of leagues. These are supposed to be sleeper guys, right? My last one's usually a throwaway every week. I throw out a guy where if I'm wrong, hey, that's.
I don't hate this. I actually thought about picking him up.
Yeah.
For this game, just because He was out there, and the Colts aren't that great again. They're actually terrible against the tight end.
That's just it. And they're going to have to do something to move the ball out there today. You can't score without moving the ball. So even though you think that New York's going to win, somebody's going to get a pass out there. Conklin has actually been pretty decent the last few weeks. He's coming on a little stronger.
Yeah.
They're starting to develop some kind of rhythm out there. I don't know what, but when Devontae Adams got there, Conklin's opportunities opened up. So
yeah, love it. I got like I said, I like the explosive plays from Audric Estime. I just have a feeling if you're gonna, take a chance and maybe get his breakout game, that's what I'm looking for, is a breakout game versus the Falcons. Again, it's a risk. And then Geno Smith versus the 49ers. Hey, man, very quietly, Geno Smith has thrown the ball the most on average per game of any quarterback in the NFL. So he's probably available in a lot of leagues. If you're looking for a chance, he's at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Johnson.
What do you guys think? Would you play the Bears defense or the 49ers defense?
Bears.
I would play the Bears defense.
Really?
Yeah.
Niners Seahawks gets out of hand too often.
Yeah, the 49ers defense is not the same defense. You can put up points on them.
Yeah.
I mean,
is Montez Sweat playing today? I saw something pop up.
He is expected to play, yeah.
Be active, yeah.
But look, I mean, the Packers are number one in the NFL versus a pass block success rate. So, I mean, I'm not looking forward to, not getting any pressure on Jordan Love today. But
their hug blocking is great.
Shit. I mean, like Zim said, I mean, what's his name? Jordan Love will throw a pick.
That's kind of it. That's what I'm banking on.
So, I think it'll be a low-scoring game too. That favors the Bears plus the points. And then I got Quentin Johnson versus the Bengals. Just take a chance. The Bengals are terrible against the wide receiver. All right. Sits, Adam. I know you got to get going soon here.
Yeah. I got Brian Thomas. I mentioned him earlier. I just feel like he's been banged up like a chest injury, I think it is. He had 2 targets last week with 1 catch with Mac Jones under center.
Yep.
I think it's Detroit's kind of a surging defense right now. And I just hate the matchup and everything. I just don't want to risk it right now. I'm sitting Brian Thomas this week. And then Aaron Jones also been nursing an injury. He got carted off last week and then came back in the game, but still we know how Aaron Jones' injury history is. So I'm a little weary of him today. I kind of think they might limit his workload in that. And I'm just worried he might aggravate something, get pulled out. So I'm not saying you can't play him, but I'd be a little more hesitant this week. And I also think they might not need him. They may get ahead in that game and not really need to force the issue with Aaron Jones. So. And then Jared Goff, I already said that too. I think they get ahead easily in this game and don't really need Goff to throw much. And honestly, he's only been so-so for fantasy anyway. He's been fantastic for your NFL team, but for fantasy, it's just so-so with Jared Goff because they're so effective on the ground with those running backs. But I'm sitting him this week in a matchup. I think they blow him out early.
All right. Got Zim's sits. If I can find it here, did I? I didn't.
Well, I'll tell you, I had Aaron Jones on there as well. I don't like that matchup plus his injury history. They got some sturdy interior D linemen out there in Tennessee, and it's not, super common that you're sitting anybody against Tennessee, but Aaron Jones, this just seems like a prime flop candidate to me. I got Kirk Cousins at Denver, which I know might not be the most popular sit opinion, but Denver's really good against the pass, guys. And
Denver's just really good defense.
That's just it. And Kirk Cousins tends to struggle against elite defenses. He always has his entire career. Granted, this game is also not in the noon slot. All right. That goes against Kirk Cousins. We all know this. It's a stereotype for a reason, right? Not to mention the Falcons offense operates a lot on cohesiveness, timing, and they're out in Denver where it's going to be not the most chilly. It's only going to be like 50 and sunny-ish today, but that altitude affects you, especially as it starts to get colder, man. It's like icicles in your lungs if you're not used to it. So we'll see what happens there. Last, I got Jaden Reed at the Bears at Chicago. I don't like it. he's going to be matched up on Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is one of the best corners in the league this year. If Reed gets any opportunities, it's going to be against Tyreek Stevenson. We all know that's a matchup that's going to be picked on today if it happens.
Sure will.
So you just gotta keep Johnson around him. If you do that, I think Jaden Reed has a very bad game. And even still, if this is a low scoring game like you believe, Tooch, that's not going to lead to a whole lot of opportunities for Reed. And
my fear is that it becomes like a blowout for the Packers today.
Well, but even if that happens, they've
out.
got their running back coming back. Their rookie running back is coming back this week, Marshawn Lloyd.
Is he? Oh, he had appendicitis, so I think he's out.
Oh, so he's back out again.
He's
My
out
bad.
again. Yep.
I thought he was tracking to play.
He was supposed to come back, and he came down with appendicitis, so they took his appendix out, and he's out.
Ugh, that sucks. Yeah. That sucks. Regardless, Josh Jacobs, we already talked about having a great matchup today.
Yeah, love his matchup today.
And if Chicago can't defend the run and Reed is locked up with Johnson, it's just going to run the ball. Yeah, all signs point to the running back.
It's wet outside. I also have Kirk Cousins as well. I love the pass defense for the Broncos. One of the best. They're one of the best teams against the quarterback. They only allow about 13 points per game to the quarterback. Look, the best team against a running back is the Lions. So I'm going to sit Travis Etienne. I think he gets some work in the passing game, but look at his numbers, man. I think against the Bears, he had -2 rush yards. That was in London. And then Alex Madison. The Dolphins are really tough against the running back, man. Really tough against the run, just like in the past. So I'll take Alex Madison versus the Dolphins.
Yep.
All right.
Like it.
That's it. We got any
last minute questions?
No questions. Last minute questions. Let me see. Did I have any questions of my own written down? Let me check my notes. We got Papa. Let me go over my prop plays.
Let's do it.
How about a little prop plays here? I do have some good ones today, Adam. So, what the heck? So that's not right. AJ Brown has already played. Did it not transfer over? Hold on a second. Where's my prop plays? All right, hold on a second. Let me edit that. It's not supposed to be AJ Brown. It deleted my. All right, real quick.
Well, you had Devin Achane rush yards on there, and I know that's not the same number, but I still like him on the over today. I think his number's at like 69.5 on the day or something like that.
All right, so here these are my plays, the ones I played today.
Okay.
Is it higher now than 63.5?
I'm not 100% sure. Usually.
Okay.
Usually
I think I took it at 63.5. I got Bo Nix over 26.5 rush yards. The team that gives up the most rushing yards to the quarterback, the Atlanta Falcons. A quarterback who runs a lot, Bo Nix. I think 26.5 rushing yards, very doable.
Yeah,
I'm looking for him to get around 40 rushing yards today. Devin Achane over 63.5 versus a terrible rush defense. And then the Bijan Robinson. You can't run on the Broncos, but the running back can catch passes against the Broncos. Bijan goes over this almost over 25 receiving yards almost every week. So I think if you are going to beat the Broncos, you need to get Bijan involved in the passing game. We got some questions. Let's see.
Achane's actually down to 62.5 on FanDuel, which is who I usually go through. But
Williams or Love. So Caleb Williams. I'm taking Jordan Love, man. Just
take Jordan Love.
Yep. The pass block success rate for me is
I'm picking up
number
Bo
one
Nix
in
on
the NFL.
waivers.
So, yeah, I would probably. I think it'd be a low scoring game. I would try and pick up Bo Nix or somebody like that, man.
Bo Nix is available in a lot of leagues, man.
Justin Herbert. Chase Brown's got a real tough matchup, though, doesn't he? There's the
playing Chase Brown right now.
I'm playing him too. I mean, look, he touches the ball a lot.
He had like 9 catches last game.
Yeah. Shakir has got a chance though with all the injuries on.
And Jennings in what's probably going to be a back and forth game.
Yeah, I think you go Chase Brown. He touches the ball way more than any of these other guys.
Yeah. I mean, those are all 3 good options today, though.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, I kind of like them in that order too. Brown, Shakir, Jennings.
Yeah, I'd probably take Jennings over Shakir, but that's real close.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here, fellas.
All right, Papa Bear.
Questions
I'll wrap it down. I got to get going as well.
Yep.
Stephen, thank you for filling in today for Joe.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for running the show, Tooch.
Yeah.
Joe, take it easy, buddy.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
All right.
See ya.
Good night.